Welcome to the Work in Process podcast. Thank you so much for joining me again today on this episode. I'm so glad to have you on here, and I hope you've been getting insight and value from the previous episodes you've been listening to. So good news, guys. I'm trusting God to help us to build a community of people with productive and progressive mindset, people who want to become better daily. So I'm appealing, it's an appeal. You can follow me on all my social media platforms. The link will be in the description below. I'm on Twitter at DavidEmiola3, on Instagram at Emiola_David. You can follow me on all those social media platforms so that we can keep on expanding this community. You can also subscribe for free to my email newsletter, Daily Becoming, where I post randomly but minimum of once a week. And that link will also be available in the description below. I basically just share about how we can become better daily on our journey to productivity, self-development, character development, and growth. So it's like an extension of the podcast. So if you enjoyed listening to the podcast and you enjoyed engaging with the content, you can also tweet at DavidEmiola3 with any feedback, thoughts, or lesson you learned from the episode. I just joined the Twitter space, but it has been amazing and it's such a good opportunity for us to build community. So doing that can afford me or will help me to personally thank you guys for tuning in and for joining the community. Thank you so much once again. I really appreciate you. So today I'm going to be talking about something so interesting. I came up with this and it blew my own mind. Do you actually know there's something called the nodding syndrome? Don't check it on Google. I came up with it. There's something called the nodding syndrome. You know those guys, I'm part of them. I was one of them. In fact, I'm still part of them. I'm not saying it's bad. Just follow me. You know those guys that will sit down at the front row of conferences and seminars and programs, and they will just be nodding their head and be saying, They will saying, yeah, yes sir, hey, right on sir, yes sir. So I'm like, okay, this is actually a syndrome, because some of us, even when we are talking regularly with our guys, we are always, yes sir. And I decided to call it the, yeah. I decided to call it the yeah syndrome, the HHYY syndrome. So in case you are suffering from that syndrome, I've given it a name. If people just tell you, oh, guy, you are saying too much here, like, I'm suffering from the HHYY syndrome. That's the problem. And this syndrome is basically when you get so familiar with what would change your life, but you can't see it because you are already so used to it. So there was a time I was listening to Dr. Olumide Emmanuel's message on wealth, financial development, financial growth, and wealth creation seminar. I was listening to it on YouTube, and then he was sharing the story of when a senior colleague, who is also a man of God, came to meet him and told him that he likes the way he's energetic, the way he's ministering, the way he's teaching people to become financially free, that boy, he will soon be tired of it. So as a young minister that Dr. Olumide was, he just, God forbid, I reject it in the name of Jesus. He was rejecting it. And then the man said, no problem. When you have ministered or you have taught at conferences and seminar for as long as I have, then you understand what I'm saying. Then Dr. Olumide was like, okay, sir. So after some years also, of experience, Dr. Olumide has been ministering all over the world, teaching people, financial creation, financial liberty, wealth creation, real estate. He discovered that there are this set of people. Once they hear that Dr. Olumide will be in town, they are always at the conferences. And they are always sitting at the front with their notepad from UK to London, from London to US, they are just always flying around, following Dr. Olumide up and down. Then he said to himself, if these guys are truly taking what I'm teaching, they should not be here up and down. They should be at their offices doing something with their life. Then he now discovered that some people have already gotten so used. They just like that feeling of being at the latest conference, being at the latest seminar. And to an extent, I was once like that. I just wanted to be at the popping seminar, the popping conference. And Dr. Olumide was now like, he now remembered what that old, minister of God said. And he said, so this is what that man is saying. This is just a call to order, my friends. It's just a call to order. And that's why I made it a very light and a very fun episode. So I'm not saying you shouldn't say, or yeah, man of God, thank you so much. I do those things. when a word touches me, I react to it, and the best way I can allow the person to know that I'm hearing you and I'm feeling what you're saying is actually by saying, yeah, I get you. So don't think it's a bad thing. But I want us to rise up and go beyond just saying, yeah, and jotting things down. So actually taking them and applying them to our lives is important. Keep jotting them down. But make sure when you are done with that conference, you now sit down, you consume those things you have written down, and then you figure out ways to apply them to your life. And if you notice on this podcast, I don't basically teach people how to apply. Sometimes the way you apply something to your own life may be different from the way I apply it to my own life. The only key thing is just that we must see the result in both our lives. You understand? So for those of us suffering from the HHYY syndrome, it's not bad. I celebrate you. Just make sure we see the proofs in your life. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm so happy. This episode is interesting. I'm actually enjoying myself. Thank you so much once again for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember, go to the description in the description below. You will see the links. Just follow me on my social media platforms and let the community keep expanding. Bye for now.